Now that is how you make a statement in week 1 of the NFL. The Packers came out swinging against the Lions at Lambeau, and there's so much positivity to share about this matchup. You'll hear our highlights and lowlights from the game, as well as prepping for the short week before the Pack takes on the Washington Commanders on Thursday night. As always, we'll have your feedback plus much more coming up on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Loving the smell of victory. I'm Wayne Henderson, and I'm glad that Tucker Kraft's helmet was empty when that dirty Lion player pulled it off Kraft and threw it a bit downfield.
Greetings, friends. I'm Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider Podcast, and I'm still in disbelief of how well the Packers played against the Lions. I know we all picked Green Bay to win, but I think we all expected it to be much closer than it was. What a way to kick off the year. On this 322nd episode of the show, we will recap that win over the Lions. We've also got a ton of brilliant listener feedback for you,
as is tradition. Then we'll preview this Thursday night's game against the Commanders and a few more shenanigans, tomfoolery, maybe even some falderall. Let's see.
Well, let's kick things off and talk about the game itself. First off, those opening drives. The Lions won the toss, if I remember correctly, and elected to defer. So we got the ball first. And this drive, this series started out, I was like, oh no, we're going back to our old ways. We had like 2 penalties in the first series, and then we got one in our favor. And then just, that was like the end of the bad news for this game, I feel like. Tucker Kraft had an impressive grab in the end zone for the Packers' first score of the season. This came shortly after he had his helmet ripped off by a defender that Wayne mentioned earlier, which was thrown to the sideline for a penalty, which is interesting. I feel like he only got the penalty because he threw the helmet to the sideline, not because he ripped it off his head. I mean, it didn't even seem anywhere near an accident. He was trying to take his head off.
No, indeed, no accident. And yeah, the throwing it, and I'm going, it went like 10 yards the other direction. Tucker's like, what in the literal heck is going on?
I think even the announcer said, I think he should have got 2 penalties for that, ripping the helmet off and then one for chucking it downfield. Which, between this and that play last week and the opening drive, this is not Packers related, I apologize, but opening night, Cowboys and Eagles, right? Dude like spits on Dak Prescott before there's even a snap and gets ejected from the game. How dumb do you gotta be? Like, I just don't understand. I get it being in the heat of the moment, but like dial it back a second. But anyway, at this point, Packers led 7-0. It was great. As far as the opening defensive drive, gotta love those 3 and outs. Micah Parsons did have his first play as a Packer there. He definitely got through, but didn't directly impact the play. But you could see and hear the excitement from the crowd just waiting for that moment, which we may talk about a little later. But needless to say, the opening drives on both sides of the ball for the Packers were pretty fantastic.
Indeed. And Brandon McManus on the next drive gets us a field goal. It was a decent drive. Clutch play by Reed. Not enough, however, needing to settle for a field goal. But knowing that we can pretty much count on Mr. McManus is fantastic. That gave us a 10-0 lead. And yes, I admit it, I was thinking, what if we get a shutout? This is going to be awesome.
Well, it kept rolling. The hits just kept on coming. Got our second TD of the game. It was something to see, let me tell you. Dobbs had a huge catch that put the Packers in the red zone. And on the very next play, Love puts one in the back corner of the end zone to Reed. Absolutely beautiful. It was just a textbook, gorgeous play. And Packers were leading 17-3 at this point.
And another touchdown drive, which was fun to see because it was totally different than all the others, was the fact that we went for it on 4th and 1 on the 10-yard line. We went for it. We got the first down. And soon thereafter, as the kids say, Josh Jacobs gets his rushing touchdown, his 9th game in a row with a rushing touchdown, which is a Packers record, I believe I heard.
Oh, I did not hear that stat. That's amazing. I just loving the way this game is going at this point. It's just has been awesome. But we got to talk about the defense as well. Clearly, the big news is Micah Parsons making his way over to Green Bay. And welcome to Green Bay, Mr. Parsons. How about that warm welcome during the opening lineup?
Epic.
He came out. I felt like he got a bigger cheer than Jordan Love himself. It was insane. Everyone is just so welcoming of him and so happy to see him there. He did have his work cut out for him for sure. So much that he didn't get his first tackle until the fourth quarter. But let me tell you, what a play it was. He chased down Goff all the way to the flat, brought him to the ground. I've watched that play over and over again. Goff had no clue he was there. Didn't hear him, didn't see anything, just brought him to the turf. Let me tell you, Parsons' speed is absolutely incredible.
Yes.
I can't remember who shared it with me, but somebody said, a lot of people really have tough jobs, but imagine your job is keeping back Micah Parsons. Oh, and all your friends and family get to watch it live on TV.
I saw that.
That's somebody's job.
Yeah, to watch your whole family and friends get to watch you fail miserably at your job. That's too bad.
By the way, this was one of 4 times the Packers defense sacked Goff this game. So defense all around was pretty stellar. Very happy with this team. There's not much negative to say. I'm surprised we have as much on our list for lowlights as we do. Wayne, what do we have that's to talk about there?
Well, since not every game is perfect, there's always some level of lowlights, but these are not the most egregious things in the world. Xavier McKinney getting that 15-yard personal foul penalty for taunting. It definitely did not look like it should have been considered taunting. A Lions player did some taunting a little later that was a lot worse and didn't get a flag. Remember the good old days when sticks and stones could break your bones and words could never hurt you? Well, welcome to today's NFL. Xavier got ripped off.
Well, we don't know what was said. That's the thing that I always hang my head on these is I agree it didn't look that bad. He just kind of went up to him, squared up against him, and looked down. We didn't hear the words coming out, so he could have said something pretty awful, but who knows? But I do agree with you that it seemed like the other team, the Lions did it later in the game, and it seemed just as much of a problem. And I'm like, where's the taunting call there? Like, what's fair for one is fair for the other, but that's not how it rolled. And but hey, the score wound up in our favor, so I'm not going to complain too much, but I don't want that to be a thing the rest of the season.
True.
Another low light is the injuries that we hope are not very serious. It is too soon to tell, but Cox suffered a groin injury. Zach Tom got banged up with a hip injury. Also, it looks like Bo Melton and Aaron Banks. You hate to see it, especially first week. So many people on the ground. It can't happen. We've got to stay healthy. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, at least it wasn't these, more popular names. At least it wasn't Micah Parsons. At least it wasn't Jordan Love. At least it wasn't Dobbs. Right. You know what I mean? No, all of these players are vital to the team, and we need them all healthy. And I just wish them the best and speedy recovery. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious.
Indeed, because Thursday is here in just a couple days. That's why it was imperative to get tonight's episode recorded and try to get it out by Monday night. Because next thing you know, the game's going to be here, and yeah. I'll call this a low light. Just the fact that the Packers seem to be relatively quiet in the third quarter of this game. And I know it's tough to call this a low light compared to the rest of the game that was spectacular, but it would have been even better if they could have played with the same intensity for all 4 quarters. But maybe they just needed to save up their juice and get ready for that dominant fourth quarter. I don't know. One of those things.
You got to remember, Wayne, it's not the 1970s anymore, man, when you could run up the score 50, 60 points or whatever and nobody cared. The coaching staff is much more cognizant of keeping their players healthy. I actually appreciated that Green Bay took a much more conservative approach all around this game, outside of the fourth play call that you talked about, which I kind of ruffled my feathers at a little bit. It was in the 10-yard line, get the 3 and be fine with it. I would have been fine just going that route, but they did go for it. It went in our favor, so I'm not mad at it. But I like that we are not just being super aggressive. I know it worked for us back in the Brett Favre days, and then we started, fundamental football with Rodgers, and then Rodgers got crazy. I would love to see Jordan Love and company just stay consistent, and let's just play football and not swing for the fences and just like trying to pull all these crazy wins. Let's go up by 2 scores and then keep it steady. That's the comfort that I want. I'm okay 13, 14, 17 points ahead. I know it's fun to see that score run up, but I want to see the defense just hold their place and the offense chewing up the clock and doing what they can to keep those first downs going and getting and making that happen instead of winning by a ton of points. I think that's a better way to go.
And part of that could have been due to the fact that we do play again on Thursday night. So you have to be extra attentive to potential injuries, because it's not like the Commanders are going to be super easy. And we'll talk about that later in the show.
Well, I mean, we were as conservative as they were. We still have 4 injured players. Now, who knows, how they're going to be, but they only got 3 days of rest. You know what I mean? Before they've got to get out there again, if they're going to be healthy. They're probably not going to be healthy after such a short week. So you got to keep those players healthy, because the coaches knew going up against Washington quickly, and they potentially could be an even tougher matchup than Detroit. So I got one last low light, and I know they don't count, but Jordan Love did throw 2 interceptions, man. I mean, they didn't count. One was, not upheld because of a defensive penalty. I can't remember what the other one was, but he did throw 2 picks. They didn't stick. They didn't go on his record. He's got, a good quarterback rating and all that, but he did throw 2 picks. So if I'm scraping the barrel for lowlights, that is one to take into consideration. So there you go.
Fair enough. Let's go ahead and dig into the weekly poll question, which then will lead us into listener feedback. You can find the weekly poll question in our Facebook group at packerscommunity.com, as well as on X. You can find us at Packers Fan Pod shortly after the game is finished each week. This time, what was your favorite part of the Packers' convincing victory over the Lions? Was it Micah freaking Parsons? Was it the wide receivers and tight ends? Josh Jacobs? Jordan Love? And then we even had a write-in vote from Dawn for our defense. How about you, Scott? Do you have a favorite? Can you pick just one facet?
It's really hard to not say Micah Parsons, man. I mean, when he ran down Goff, I was out of my seat cheering for him. I was legitimately so excited. Get him. But I got to give credit to the wide receivers and tight ends, and the fact that Jordan Love is passing the ball to multiple targets. It wasn't one target. It wasn't all long yardage. It wasn't all short yardage. It was keeping the defense guessing all around. Those receivers were getting open in opportune places. Love was staying on target for the most part. I just love the diversity of where the ball was going. So I'm going to say wide receivers and tight ends.
Same here. I was thinking about Josh Jacobs, but he took a while to really get going, like in the second half, and then he was on a roll. But yeah, the wide receivers and tight ends, didn't all 3 of our tight ends get some action in this game, as well as how many receivers we have now? There was people everywhere catching the ball. It was amazing.
It felt like it never went to the same receiver twice in a row, I feel like. And it was all over the place. That is what won us in 2011. With the Super Bowl in 2011 is spreading that ball to so many different targets. After that, when Rodgers started throwing to nobody but Adams, we went downhill and started not being able to do anything in the playoffs as well. Spreading that ball out, keeping them guessing is really what's going to win games, and that's why it's my pick. Let's see what the community thought, though, Wayne. We had some comments on the poll over at Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. First off, Caleb Fisher said, I give credit to everyone on the team. We looked great stopping them twice on 4th down. Good call. Also, Ben Rabine says, this defense looked like a new animal. Parsons is going to open a lot of doors for them. I see a lot of double teams on him and still over 10% pressure rate. Love seeing him line up all over. Offense looked effective and efficient. I think things are going to get even smoother for them, too. Waylon has an absolute boot when it comes to punts. Couldn't ask for anything more.
That's for sure.
I'm really happy with our special teams, everything all around.
Fantastic stuff. And the votes after you combine Facebook and Twitter, 57% went with Micah freaking Parsons as their favorite part. 23% the wide receivers and tight ends. 10% for Jordan Love. 4% for Josh Jacobs. And 6% for the defense from Dawn, who commented, our defense was on fire. I was impressed at how hard they played as a team, which was a great start. And Dan Dyler commented on the poll saying the D was lights out, preventing a high-powered offense from scoring a TD until the very end. And for me, one of the biggest takeaways was there wasn't a single drop pass and how the defense absolutely swarmed the ball. And over on X, Bitter Quitter says, I'm a sucker for Jacobs, man. He just smashes people, which is very true. And Colin Nolan in Ireland on X says, Micah Parsons looks like he's loving life in Green Bay. So, yeah, there was plenty of accolades to go around. So, folks, remember to join in on the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community. Be part of the conversations. You can find us again at packerscommunity.com. Check out all the fun, especially for our live game chat section during the Packers-Commanders game. We will see you there, and there's going to be things to talk about. I just know it.
Absolutely. And speaking of, we want you to be part of all of our upcoming podcast episodes. We need your insights after watching the game against the Commanders, but also your score predictions for the Week 3 matchup when the Packers face the Browns. So let your voice be heard by either, first off, recording your voice, attaching it to an email and sending it to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com, or by calling the PFP voicemail at +1 920 3PACK-GO. Since we are recording the show on Monday afternoons, most weeks with the season, we need your feedback by Sunday at 10 p.m. Central. And with the Packers-Commanders game being Thursday night, you can help us out by getting feedback into us even sooner. Thank you, and go Pack Go. What do we got for voicemails this week, Wayne?
Hey guys, Jay Walters from SoCal. Well, it's so good to be back and have your show again. What a great start to the season. Man, the offense looked fantastic. Nobody dropping balls. The run game didn't work at first, so what'd they do? Adjusted, went with the pass. Detroit could not figure out what was going on. At halftime, they concentrated on stopping our pass. We switched to doing better at our run, and they were just at a loss. And we continued to keep Jared guessing and always in a hurry, and didn't give him any time, and they just could not get anything off. It was a fantastic game. It was a great start to the season. And once again, great to have the podcast back. Micah Parsons, what a great pickup. That was fantastic. And he showed what he can do. Anyway, that's it for me. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. Jay, thank you so much for your call, and thanks for the warm welcome back. It is great to be back here in the seat with my good buddy, even though he's not wearing any green and gold, but I'm not gonna hold it against him too much. Jay made a really good point. I didn't really pay attention to the adjustments. You know, they like you were talking earlier, you didn't really see too much out of Jacobs until the second half. That's because they weren't using him as much. They started to, made the adjustments, started relying on the passing game a little bit more, and then went back when they started to run out the clock, and that's when he started exploding a little bit. So, yeah, good insight there, man. I appreciate it.
Well done, Jay. Well done indeed. Thanks for sending us in a message. We hope to hear from you again, maybe even after the Commanders game. Let's see what we got. This looks like it's sailing all the way in from Captain Pack Sparrow.
Go, 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 Pack, go. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a win. What a complete and total domination of our division rivals. I thought this was going to be a close game. Oh, boy, was I wrong. I've never been more happy to be wrong. Wow, Jordan Love just killed it. He spread that ball around. 10 different receivers during the game. This has got to be a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. And I'm looking through my notes here that I made. I have one phrase written down twice. Team win. This was a complete and total team win. Every time you saw that ball moving, especially on the defensive side, you saw like 4 or 5 Packers swarming toward the ball, just swarming like a bunch of bees. No turnovers, 9 tackles for losses, 4.5 sacks, with Micah Parsons getting his first sack as a Green Bay Packer. Only 4 penalties, and really, let's be honest, there were really only 3 penalties because that BS personal foul on McKinney for they said taunting. That was garbage. But anyway, the time of possession, 35 minutes for the Lions versus 24 for the Packers. The Lions possessed the ball 10 minutes longer and ran almost 20 more plays than the Packers, and they still got their butts waxed. You can't make this kind of thing up. You just saw the energy everywhere. I mean, I don't know if this is the Micah Parsons effect or the Matthew Golden effect, but like the fact that, at the end of last season, Gutekunst made the comment about, about being the time is now, we need to be more aggressive. And then they picked, a wide receiver for the first time in 23 years and in the first round. And then they go land Micah Parsons, who is a generational talent and a potential Hall of Famer. It just brought so much energy to the team, to the fans. Parsons, speaking of Parsons, of those 65 total defensive plays, he was only in 20 of them. Just imagine if he's going to be in another 10, 15 plays during the defensive snaps. Oh, also, Nate Hobbs, a starting linebacker. I think he's a linebacker. But anyway, he's a starter. He wasn't even playing in this game. You got Jordan Love with a 128.6 quarterback rating with no turnovers. The offensive line allowing no sacks. And, the Captain Pack Sparrow and me, the passionate fan, the one that gets super excited about everything, the sky's the limit. But I also want to be able to temper my expectations and not get too far ahead of ourselves. This is only week 1. There's 16 more, games to play. And, but I'm here for it. It's all part of being a fan. We're here for the journey. We have no say in what happens in the game. We can just react to whatever we're seeing, but I'm here for it. I am so excited. I'm getting ready here. See, today, this is Sunday evening, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in 2.5 days, I'm packing up and I'm heading up north to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Going to go visit with some family, and I'll be at the game on Thursday night against the Commanders. And after seeing today's game, well, those Commanders, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I don't care who Jaden Daniels is or whatever his name is, because we got somebody called Jordan Love. We got somebody called Micah Parsons, Matthew Golden. We got this. Oh, I can't wait to go to that game, and it's just going to be such a fun time. And, I just got one thing left to say. Oh, wait, wager of fun. My bad. Let's go. Commanders are going to lose, and the Packers are going to win. Score is going to be 34-17. Go, 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 Pack, go.
Go, Pack, go indeed, Dan Dialer, a.k.a. Captain Pack Sparrow. Give in to that passionate fan from Captain Pack Sparrow. Like our former backup quarterback, Kurt Benkert, said after the game, he posted on X, I've seen enough. Packers going to the Super Bowl. I mean,
I love his tweets, man.
They're so
He's
solid.
always got something really funny to say.
Solid and excellent points, Dan. 10 different receivers, a complete team win, and the fantastic stats. And my favorite that you brought up was the fact that the Lions had time of possession 10 minutes more than us and ran something like 20 more plays than us. And still, it was a dominant victory for the green and gold.
What a stat. You just win. How often do you see that happen?
Not often at all. And he's heading up to Lambeau for Thursday night's game. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of that. Although Thursday night games are really difficult, especially if I got to work the next day.
Yes.
I've done it. I'm way too old for that anymore. So I will be watching. Actually, my wife and I, if you remember, Wayne, I built a new deck on the back of my house last summer.
Beautiful.
Not this past summer, but the summer before. And we installed a TV out on the deck. But the TV is a piece of junk. So we bought a new TV, an outdoor TV. We bought some outdoor speakers. And that's going to be arriving on Wednesday. I'm going to install it on Wednesday, and we're going to watch the game outside. It's supposed to be still nice. It's warming up again before we get the real fall weather. So it's going to be a gorgeous night of watching football, and I cannot wait. So I'm going to be watching that comfortably from my deck with my little fire pit. Got a little gas fire pit in front of the TV.
Wow.
It's going to be great.
Be sure to post a photo in the group sometime of you and your wife enjoying the game on the back deck, because that's about as Midwest as it gets, and I love it.
Hey guys, David Hawkins from Arlington, Virginia. Great game today. Way to kick off the 2025 season. Really just, had so much fun watching the game. Picked out three things that I wanted to share. First, the punting game I thought was terrific today. Waylon hit some boomers, and frankly, the one right before the end of the first half, I thought was pretty important. I think the Lions thought maybe they could come back and make a drive at a score, but Waylon really stuck them back in their own territory, and they just couldn't do anything with it. I also appreciated the fact that the Packers made the Lions punt one over again. It looked like they gained about 20-some yards, the Packers did, by making them re-kick. That was there, I think, in either the first or second quarter, can't remember. But really good, just smart football, and the punting game really just kept the Lions way, way back. Another thing is, I think, everybody probably loved this, but the Micah Parsons reception, when he went out on the field, first of all, the Lambeau just really, really showed him how they felt. And it was a great moment. I think if you're a player, you just have to love that. And it's another thing that makes Green Bay such a special place to play. And then when he got his sack, I think that was great. I looked at the guys on the sidelines, and they looked like they were kids in a little league game. I mean, they were just so happy for him. And again, it's another reason why I think the players must really enjoy Green Bay. I've heard them talk about it. The last thing that I'll mention is not something I necessarily enjoyed, but I know we got a taunting penalty in the first half. And, didn't look like that much. I mean, guys are chirping out there all the time. And the Lions receivers particularly, I've noticed even before this game, they always are running their mouths. And I'm sure the secondary gives it right back. But then shortly after that, Jameson Williams, the Lions receiver, was really mouthing off to one of the Packers secondary. And referees didn't even do anything, and so I guess my concern there is just that this taunting rule, I don't know how often it's going to get enforced against the offense. I think I just don't know how well it was thought out, and how much attention has been given to who it gets called on and why. I don't know. I know it's in the college game, and I've seen it called there. It seems to be pretty well defined in that space, but man, today the call on the Packers I didn't think there was much in it, and then when Williams did probably twice as much on his side, referees didn't even look at it. So anyway, just want to watch that as we go forward. But otherwise, a terrific game. I really, really appreciated that Green Bay just looked like they were giving a clinic out there, and then that's actually a quote from a friend of mine who is a Lions fan. He was he posted on Facebook that he was watching a clinic, except that the Lions weren't the ones giving it. So anyway, looking forward to the game against the Commanders here, deep in Commanders territory. Thinking Pack is gonna take that one too. 31-20 is my guess. But anyway, guys, happy to be here. Happy to have the first win of the season. Appreciate you guys for what you do, and go Pack go.
Go Pack go indeed. David, thank you so much for the call. Really appreciate it. He repeated a lot of stuff that we've already said, but the one thing that he mentioned that we didn't talk about was that repunt that really did set things off course for them, and prevented them from getting an upper hand and trying to bounce back right there before the half. So yeah, very good. Love the call, David. Thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate it.
Indeed. And somebody gave us a call at +1 920 3-Pack go. It looks like it's coming in from Texas.
Wayne Scott, Art from Texas. Always great to be back every year. What a game. Now that's a Super Bowl caliber team right there. Gonna take it one game at a time. Yeah, people are saying, well, the Lions did lose their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, a couple of offensive linemen, but still, even then, that's why the Packers beat them in the fashion that they did. The Packers beat them how they were expected to beat them. considering whoever what staff Detroit lost. But yes, I was very, very impressed with that guy, Kobe Wooden. My goodness, that guy is a beast. Wow. Hopefully they can keep it going because I'm interested to see how they're going to do against a more mobile quarterback like Daniels from the Commanders. Because I know Goff is not that mobile, so I'm curious to see how they're going to do against the quarterback for the Commanders. Yeah, it was an awesome game. I had a question for you guys real quick, or maybe for the listeners, maybe they can help me decide. Not that I'm indecisive, I'm just, I have an away jersey, Aaron Jones, which I'm never getting rid of because I wear it every away game. But I'm looking into buying a home jersey and deciding between Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs, or just stick to my wearing my old Randall Cobb jersey. I was just curious, just throwing it out there, see what you guys think. But as always, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go to you as well, Art. Thank you so much for giving us a call. Good to hear you again this season. I love Art's first comment about us looking like a Super Bowl caliber team, and I totally agree with that as well. And listeners, he wants your help, our help, everybody's help, just suggestions, trying to decide whether he should just wear his old classic Cobb jersey for home games, or maybe Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, or buy a Josh Jacobs jersey. What are your thoughts on that, Scott? How do you choose?
Well, I will tell you, right now, he's not on our team anymore. I am still rocking the Kenny Clark jersey. Now, I understand my last name is also Clark, so I have a little bit better excuse. But I have nothing against rocking a jersey from an old player. So I'd stick with the Cobb. But if you got to go in New Jersey, it is really difficult to not say Micah Parsons at this point. At number 1 on the chest, it's just pretty sweet. So that would, I understand. Gary and Jacob's been there a little bit longer, and I'm probably drinking the early Kool-Aid a little bit with the newness going on there. But I also understand it's difficult to commit. Those jerseys are what I think I actually saw when they showed a shot of the NFL Pro Shop at Lambeau. A Micah Parsons jersey there is like $130, which is just kind of blowing my mind. But so it's a commitment.
It sure is.
I've got Rodgers jerseys up there that I'm not putting on again. I'm sorry. I love the guy for the longest time until he just started doing what he's doing. But I won't put that on again. And so you don't know what's going to happen with Parsons. It's a gamble, but be safe. Stick with Cobb. Maybe wait around and see how Parsons does if he continues to shine, and then make the jump. What do you think, Wayne?
And it is definitely a financial commitment, to be sure. And listeners, weigh in with your thoughts as well, for Art as well as for the rest of us. Myself, I would probably lean toward a Josh Jacobs jersey. I just think with number 8, it just looks really good and nice and balanced and even. Because I have to think of some sort of tiebreaker because they're all solid choices. You cannot go wrong with either one. Maybe you'll get lucky the day you go shopping, Art, and they have buy one, get 2 free, and then all your problems are solved.
Yeah.
For sure. I do agree that Daniels is more mobile than Goff, but I could see Micah Parsons doing that exact same shark attack move and just chasing him down because the speed's incredible.
Absolutely. Let's move on to emails. We got one from Andre in LA. Can't wait to hear his voice again. I've missed you, brother. I can't wait to hear it, but we'll settle with an email. I'm not going to try to imitate him, but here is his email. He says, "It's been a long time without you, my friends. Love what I saw from Green Bay and Green and Gold today. Offense looked fluid and not stale. Defense was aggressive and sure tacklers today. I know some may say we gave up a lot for Parsons, but I love when the organization is aggressive with getting players. Miss you guys. I just wanted to say, go Pack, go! Go Pack, go! Green and Gold till I'm dead and cold. Andre in LA." Thanks, brother. Great to hear from you as always.
Thank you so much, Andre and Scott. That was pretty good. But, the Go Pack Go got to really, not that I can carry it the way that Andre does, but that was pretty. I know that if we try to do it here in our houses while we're recording, our wives are at, they're down the hall, upstairs or whatever. They'll still hear it loud and clear if we do it the Andre way. So.
And I didn't want to, bust out your eardrums by doing it, but there you go.
I've seen Motorhead. My eardrums are already paying the price. Now it is time to dig in and preview the game because your 1-0 Green Bay Packers play again this Thursday night, thankfully staying home at Lambeau Field, and the Packers are hosting the 1-0 Washington Commanders Thursday, September 11th at 7:15 p.m. Central Time on Amazon Prime. Green Bay Packers lead the series, which is, our MO. It is actually one of the oldest NFL rivalries, even though we don't play them all that often. We are ahead 22 victories to 17 losses and 1 tie. And the Green Bay-Washington rivalry goes back to November 13th, 1932, when the Packers beat the then Boston Braves in Boston 21-0, which is always a good thing. But Scott, how's this for a high-scoring Monday Night Football game? In 1983, we beat the, at that time, Redskins 48-47.
There would be no time for anything else but football. Like, it was just like, do you even have to break to commercial? It's like touchdown. Like, it's just like, it would be an entertaining game. And for a game that high scoring to come down to a 1-point difference,
right?
Man, I don't go back and watch old games too often, but that would be a fun one to go back and just watch, especially just to see the old telecasts. How things have changed. They probably didn't have the yellow line.
No, they did not. I was there. Yeah. Not at that game, but I was watching football at that time.
Well, Wayne, it's not there. It's not there in real life. You know that, right? The yellow line is not actually there.
Are you trying to burst my bubble? Hey, I would not be surprised, though, that within 3 years it will actually be there.
Yeah.
And you know how Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers both went from the Packers to the New York Jets? Well, that might pale in comparison to another legendary copycat situation. Both Curly Lambeau and Vince Lombardi both left Green Bay to be head coaches of Washington. Lambeau did it in 1952 and Lombardi did it in 1969. I find it amazing to think about that they both went to Washington after being legends with Green Bay.
That is interesting for sure. Hopefully that's not we don't have like another goat curse thing going on like the Cubs did for so many years.
No,
but we
that's a Cubs thing. The weather though, this Thursday night, Lambeau Field's going to be another nice weather day, perfect for football. Partly cloudy, 65 degrees Fahrenheit at kickoff, about 18 degrees Celsius. The weather has not really started happening just yet. Like you said, that your area is kind of warming up a little bit before fall really starts to hit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wish I could be there. I was actually watching the game and they were commenting about how hot it was. I mean, I would love to be there, but there is something about that crisp air for a football game that just makes it feel at home. And then, of course, once it gets really cold, bundling up and trying to survive out there and, living off each other's body heat. But well, let's move on to some keys to a Packers victory over the Commanders. I got 3 of them, as always. First off, strategy number 1, careful throws from Love. As I mentioned above, Green Bay got lucky on 2 passes that should have been interceptions for Jordan Love. The future of the Packers is definitely dependent on the entire team, but their quarterback is the cornerstone, and they can't afford plays like that turning the tides, especially against a stout defense like Washington. I'd like to see Love continue to not take as many chances and stick to the fundamentals, but hey, if somebody breaks free, I'm okay with him taking a shot now and then as well. Strategy number 2, youth versus experience. One thing that makes this matchup so interesting is the average age gap between the two teams. The Packers are the youngest team in the league. We've been talking about that for forever. But the Commanders, are the oldest team in the league. They've got the most experience in terms of averages. This is an opportunity to run circles around the quote unquote old timers on the other side of the ball. Despite that fact, our quarterback is more seasoned than Jaden Daniels, who's only in his second year in the league. So we've got that going for us as well. I think the age is really going to be a key thing in terms of play calling and endurance, swapping out those players. Finally, strategy number 3, home field advantage. Yeah, I said it during a preview to a week 2 game in the NFL. Much like last week's game, setting the tone for the rest of the season, this game actually could set the tone for the playoffs, as it very well could determine who gets home field advantage in the playoffs. Both Green Bay and Washington are looking strong this year. This could be the one that says who's going to get home field advantage. I won't go as far as saying to treat this one like it's a playoff game, but it's definitely the next closest thing. There's a lot more riding on this one than a simple W. And yes, after Sunday showing, I'm thinking playoffs, baby. Let's do it.
I love to hear you talking about playoffs this early in the season, Scott. And speaking of a simple W, that's all the Commanders have on their helmets. I don't get it. I will say those are fantastic keys to victory. Yeah, Love needs to be a little bit careful, but it's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be one of those rare Thursday night games that's going to be fantastic. So are we still bouncing around ideas for the Wager-O Fun? I'm trying to come up with something, since I know that I'm going to win and you're going to need to pay the price. I need to decide what that's going to be, right?
Well, Wayne, I mean, don't count your chickens, man. We'll get to the score here in just a second, but I think everybody knows where that's going based on our the tone of our conversation right now. However, my wife had a suggestion that I wanted to throw by you and see what you think and see what the listeners think, because she thinks that the loser should have to go to work after our season is done. You know, after the Wager-O Fun is over, after we can no longer determine, we don't know when in the football season that's going to be, but both of us work in schools. I'm a teacher. You work in, the office making copies, things like that at your school. And so the loser, according to my wife, should have to wear a kilt to school all day long.
Come on.
And dude, I'm down. I am absolutely 100% down. I will do it. I could probably even find a Green Bay Packers kilt, like with a little logo on the waist or something, if this were to happen. So I'm just saying,
oh my
throwing the gauntlet down. I think that's what we should do.
I don't know. California is not really a kilt area.
Oh yeah, because Wisconsin and Illinois are.
I'm busy making copies all day for all the schools. Can you see me clearing a paper jam or refilling the toner while wearing a kilt? I don't know.
Absolutely, I can.
Oh,
I like 100% want to see that, dude. It would be like I think the real reason you're balking at it is you're worried you're going to like it too much, because they don't wear anything underneath the kilt, so it's going to feel that it's going to be that very free feeling that I think you're going to grow accustomed to it. You're going to be like, this might be the real deal.
I don't know what kind of dress code your school district has. Let me think about it, but I'm not really keen on this idea, Mrs. Clark.
Listeners, help me out here. Help me out.
No, help me out and make sure I win this thing.
Well, let's see where we're at. How about that?
Yes.
Our predictions last week. I said that Green Bay was going to win 21-20. It was a total differential of 13. I was pretty far off. Wayne said 24-20 in favor of Green Bay, a differential of 10 points. The final score was 27-13, much better than I anticipated. So yes, Wayne does get the point. And look, man, you've already got the lead. I'm already playing catch up, and I'm the one throwing this out there. You've got the advantage. Ball's in your court, on your side of the field, however you want to say it. I say we do it. As far as the Packers Fan Podcast listener section for Sunday's game, we had a bunch of write-ins, but the winner this week was David Hawkins with He now has one win. He had a differential of only 4 points. He predicted Green Bay 27, Detroit 17. So that puts Wayne in the lead, 1-0. That puts David Hawkins in the sole leader in first place for the listener Packers Wager of Fun. So that brings us to Washington. I think that this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think that it's still going to be close. I'm going to say Green Bay 27, Washington 20. How about you, Sir Wayne?
Oh, my. I'm going to say Packers get at least 28 points and hold Washington to 17. So I see your strategic ideas falling into place here.
Man, you and the listeners are just feeling like this is going to be a much bigger gap than I'm anticipating. But let's see what the listener said. Here we go. We got Brett Connor, who predicted Green Bay to go over Washington 27-24. I guess that's not that big of a gap. Jay Walter says Green Bay 28, Washington 20. Ben Rabine and Dan Dialer both say that Green Bay is going to get double the points of Washington with a score of 34-17.
Wow.
And that's not all. We got more.
Yeah, David Hawkins, almost the same with Green Bay 31, Washington 20. And Garrett Stritzel says, tough opponent and mobile quarterback will make it tougher. But I'm guessing Green Bay 21, Washington 17. So far, everybody's still on the Packers bandwagon, which I love to see. And the NFC North, quick peek at the standings. The Packers in first place at this moment with their 1-0 record. The Vikings and Bears, they're both 0-0 because they're just about to kick off their Monday Night Football game. So who knows what's going to happen there. So mathematically, as of the time of this recording, the Lions are in last place with a record of 0-1. Did you have anything else from around the NFL that jumped out at you this week, sir?
I mean, I kind of already mentioned it. The opener was a great first half. I got Jalen Hurts on my team, so I was really enjoying watching him run in the end zone a couple times. We had the ejection at the beginning. We had somebody carted off the field before the first snap of the game. Wild things happened, and then a rain delay took place, and I never went back. I'm not going to stick around and hope that this storm goes over and I get to watch the game. And from what I heard, nothing happened the rest of the game. It was a very, very boring, because I think the announcers were even saying during the break that warming up is one of the most difficult things that players have to do during a game, and they have to warm up before the game, and then they had to warm up before, the second half, and now they got to warm up again during this delay, and that just takes it out of you as a player, and nobody was just really into it as much anymore. So I'm glad I rolled over and went to sleep and didn't sit through that game. But how about you? Anything else interesting happen?
Yeah, I've had a few things pop out in my mind. Like, for example, during halftime at the Packers game yesterday, it was the 15th anniversary collection of our Super Bowl champion team, including Coach McCarthy. But Aaron Rodgers couldn't be at the reunion because he's still working and threw 4 touchdowns for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's pretty awesome.
I do got to talk about that game. I was rooting so hard for New York, and it's completely out of bitterness. I fully admit that I was totally cheering for that game. And, unfortunately, Rodgers pulled it off, and 4 touchdowns, and nobody drafted him in my my fantasy football league. And I'll bet you they were wishing they did. I wonder if he's on free agency right now. Maybe I should go pick him up. But I was definitely glued to my TV watching that game to see what would happen.
Well, how about the Bills quarterback then? Josh Allen throwing 251 yards in the fourth quarter. If he could have kept that pace for the entire game, that would have been over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that would be insane. But I mean, come on, dude, that's not going to happen.
I know, but
that pace.
That was just wild stuff. And that was a pretty high scoring game as well. And just a fun thing on the side, I never thought that I would see a sideline photographer at an NFL game actually giving some coaching to a rookie running back. This is at Friday night's Chargers-Chiefs game. Former NFL great running back, now official sideline photographer, Marshawn Lynch, was giving some running back wisdom to Chargers rookie running back Omarion Hampton, who made the critical mistake of running out of bounds and stopping the clock right before the end of the first half, giving the Chiefs just enough time to march down the field and kick a field goal, which in itself was crazy because Usually when you're out of timeout, so you just spike the ball and you rush out on the field, you try to get a playoff. Most of the time it goes horribly wrong. They only had like 4 seconds, but they were able to rush out their field goal unit with like 4 seconds ticking down and make it like a 50-yard field goal.
Wow. That's just kind of crazy. I did not see that. I'm going to go back and watch the highlight on that. That's crazy.
That was crazy.
What a week.
Yes. Week 1, great stuff. So who knows if there will be any greatness of any sort during the Vikings-Bears game, but,
Well, let's move on. I got one more quick thing to talk about before we get out of here. Personally, I want to remind everybody about my other podcast, The Gaming Outsider. We got a new episode out this week, and we're talking about the Game Genie, which if your back hurts, you probably remember a peripheral from the 90s that allowed you to put cheat codes in your favorite games. It was all the rage, and I'm looking forward to reminiscing about that. You can hear my show at the same places you listen to this one, and you can find our website at thegamingoutsider.com. I'd love it if you checked it out. Also, I put this in the Facebook group for the Packers Fan Podcast, but I'm super proud of my wife. My wife got a new job for a company called Fire Department Coffee. It's exactly what it sounds like. They roast, brew, distribute coffee right here in my hometown of Rockford, Illinois. My wife is now working for them. She works in the accounting department. She's killing it over there. But Fire Department Coffee recently partnered with Walmart, and they had a commercial during the opening game of the NFL season on Thursday. I mentioned it, and some people said they saw it. Some people said they went and bought some coffee to try it out. I would love to hear what you guys think of it. And I've been told that commercial is supposed to air on every NFL game throughout this weekend, which would include tonight. So you might get a chance to see it. I guess this would be in the past because will already have aired. But check it out, Fire Department Coffee. It's good stuff, and they are fantastic people. And I'm really proud of my wife.
Well done. I've seen the commercial 2 or 3 times so far in different games. So keep your eyes peeled, folks.
Thank you for continuing to support the Packers Fan Podcast. You can check out the details on how to become a PFP patron at packersfanpodcast.com/give back. Jay Walters coming in hot at the Bart Starr level. Thanks, and Go Pack Go. Dan Dialer, Go Pack Go, and thank you for your J-Love 10 level support. We do appreciate it.
And here's to our $4 Brett Favre supporters. Thanks and Go Pack goes to Miguel Ramirez from the Opposites Attract podcast, Megan and Scott Boers, and with their Curly Lambeau level patronage, Go Pack Go, and thank you to Joe Christensen, Hank Davis from the @Free Podcast Tools YouTube channel, Brett Connor as well. And if you're interested in joining in, check out all the details at packersfanpodcast.com/give back. Now, the Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not yet affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. Whether we are or not, we love it when you tell your friends about the Packers Fan Podcast, so we thank you in advance.
You can follow us over on Twitter. Our handle is @PackersFanPod. My personal handle is @GoCastScott, and my podcast handle is @TheGoCast. And if you'd like to follow Wayne, his handle is @Wayne Henderson. And as day one of this year's NFL season is just around the corner, here's PFP community members Megan, Dan Dialer, Joe Christensen, and Andre with their Go Pack Go outro to keep us amped for Thursday night.
Go Pack Go!
Go Pack Go!
Go Pack Go!
Go, 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 Pack Go!